happened? The Department of Insurance did not make sure that the parent company was responsible for backstopping the sub. What I mean by the sub is the State Farm that operates in California is a legally distinct company purely for the purpose of hiving off the losses from the parent company. That's it. It's just a PO box. Well, so now State Farm is paying for the risk that it's taking, right? There's no other insurance companies operating, so people don't have choices. The Department of Insurance has not made the parent company responsible for the sub. State Farm is taking advantage of its customers who need their help by stiffing them on their claims. And State Farm is demanding an emergency rate increase because we don't have any alternatives. That is crazy. And that is only because we have allowed a situation where State Farm has power, which is backwards. What we need is a market with lots of choice and competition. So if one insurance company wants to leave, fine, let them go. There's plenty of other insurance companies to choose from. And then meanwhile, we're holding them accountable with smart, strong regulations so that the customer has the power, not the insurance company. The insurance company is only able to charge enough to cover its costs.
Okay, next question. How would you handle the combination of people having homes in areas that are subject to climate change risks? Should we enforce insurance companies to insure them even with repeated claims?
This is an important and deep question. I know I have only a minute left. Let me quickly cover the key points. First of all, we can take action to reduce risk to make it possible for people to live safely in the WUI, the wildlife urban interface, and in these places that have higher fire risk. Now, it may be more expensive, but we can help. We can give clear guidance on how to harden your home that's aligned with how insurance companies underwrite so that you're getting credit for taking those actions. And we can provide appropriate financial assistance for homeowners to take those actions. Because when you harden your home, you're helping yourself, you're helping your neighbor. We can take much more responsible care of our forests and other areas to reduce the fire risk from burning, underbrush, and so forth. And my time is running out, but we should probably consider this offline because it's a very important question. But yes, we can take actions to reduce risk.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us, and I know that I'm sure our delegates will be eager to talk to you at the convention as well. So thank you
Thank
for
you so
joining.
much. I'm looking forward to it, Senator Allen. Good to see you. We keep running into each other virtually all over the place. So I've got to hop to my next thing, and I hope you have a good evening. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, thank you. And
Bye-bye.
as cued, our next speaker has joined us, Senator Ben Allen. Let me get you spotlighted. And thank you for joining us on what I'm sure is a very hectic last couple of weeks prior to the convention. Um, I think without further ado, we'll just let you dive in. As I've been telling all of our candidates, you'll have 3 minutes for opening statement, followed by up to 5 minutes for questions from our members. And I will start the timer when you begin speaking.
Okay, thank you so much. And thank you everybody for your commitment to our party, which is so important right now, given all the craziness happening around the country. I'm just up at the road in Sacramento right now, where we've just passed a couple important bills pushing back against the Trump administration. I'm Ben Allen. I've been representing portions of LA for the last 12 years in the state Senate. I've been a big champion for transparency, political reform, been ranked #1 by the California Clean Money Campaign for my commitment to those issues. I've been a big environmental protection champion, and I'm endorsed by the California environmental voters for this insurance commissioner's race, and worked on the big climate bond, plastics waste reduction. Also done a lot of big bills on consumer protections, including a major transparency bill for car purchasers, but also bills to try to create more transparency in the oil refining process, and a lot of other issues. I also sadly have represented a major portion of the fire zone from this last year, and it's been a really, really tough experience. You know, a lot of my community burned. My mom had to be evacuated. I saw the fire from not far, from right outside our window. Our kids breathed in atrocious air for the few days in the immediate aftermath of the fire, and tons of friends and family lost their homes, and so much of our work is focused on trying to help them get back on their feet. As a result, we learned a lot about all the problems of insurance, and I really feel as though I got a front row seat to how broken our insurance system is. We ran legislation up against the insurance industry to force them to increase the percentage of payouts in the case of total loss for contents coverage. Now we're working on legislation to try to help people reduce risk. Patrick is right. We do need to do a lot of work to reduce our risks. And we're actually running a bill right now to help working Californians get low interest loans that are state backed to help harden their communities and harden their homes. But we also need an insurance commissioner who in return is going to demand of the insurance industry that they reward that sort of work with affordable, available, robust insurance. I am very independent of the insurance industry. I have taken them on and won in the legislature. I am not taking any insurance money for this race because I think it's really important for folks, both in our party but in the general public, to know that they've got an insurance commissioner who is truly independent of the industry that he or she is going to regulate. I've got a really good track record of good consumer work, environmental work, and I'm proud to be endorsed by people like Adam Schiff, our wonderful U.S. Senator. Uh, Most of the Democrats now in the California state legislature, including our speaker and our pro tem, California Environmental Voters, the California Federation of Teachers, and wonderful Democratic organizations up and down the state. I'm a strong progressive who also knows how to get things done and delivers results in Sacramento. And I'd be so honored for you to consider me for support in the convention next month.
Right. Thank you so much. Again, I will remind people to drop your questions in the chat. I'm going to ask first question, essentially the same as I asked Mr. Wolf. One of the major problems we're seeing is that insurance companies are walking away from major portions of the state and refusing to issue policies due to alleged wildfire risks. What would you do to deal with that situation?
Yeah. Well, so there's some short-term things that can be done, speeding up the rate review process. I do think also there's some things we could do to open up the market a little bit to reduce rates, but I could talk about that a little bit more if people want to talk about that. But I think most importantly, we've got to show them that we're taking risk reduction seriously. And then at the same time, in return, making sure they stay and insure people. But what does that look like? It means putting in place policies and practice, a cultural shift in our state that really moves people toward less risk. And let's take in the case of wildfires, for example, there are ways to construct communities that are much lower risk. I was down in a community down in San Diego County not too long ago where they've adopted all these new building practices, the type of building construction materials they use, the roofing, the vegetation management, screens for the vents, redoing the eaves, redoing the glass. I mean, folks going so far as to putting Pyrex glass and having aluminum shutter. There's all sorts of things that can be done to dramatically reduce risk. This neighborhood is fully insured. And in fact, they're actually spending thousands of dollars less per unit in that neighborhood because the insurer feels so confident that they've taken the necessary steps to lower the risk of the neighborhood. Now, I think that obviously that's a new neighborhood. It's relatively easy when you're building a new construction to put in place all those fire standards. And by the way, we shouldn't be allowing any new major development in the very high fire risk zone that does not adopt strict fire standards for construction. But of course, we also know a lot of people live in riskier areas that already have a home. So we've got to step up and help them. We've got to step up and help them. In the end of the day, there's so much cost and benefit associated with not hardening or hardening to the insurance industry, to the utilities, to the general public, given how much money we're being all asked to spend on firefighting now out of our taxpayer dollars, including the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund. $1 billion new dollars are coming out of our Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund just to fund Cal Fire. So there's so much value there. We've got to figure out a way to utilize that to help people, help communities do the work of financing hardening, and then in return have an insurance commissioner who insists upon that hardening being rewarded by the insurance industry with affordable, available, robust insurance. I also think there's some things we could do that there's some weaknesses in the system where I think the state could play a role in with regards to a public option to fill in some of the gaps to make the whole system work more efficiently in a way that will actually serve working people. And I can get into those details too if people want.
How can you make sure the insurance companies pay for the damage from toxic smoke that has harmed so many homes due to wildfires?
Yeah, well, so that's something I'm experiencing intensely in my own community because so many people are being denied claims associated with smoke, and that smoke damage is very real, especially when you've had an urban conflagration where homes are burning. The level of toxins in the air when a whole house burns down versus a tree is night and day because the electronics and the coolant and all the materials that are in a modern home. So the insurance commissioner is actually taking the FAIR Plan to court right now for denying people smoke coverage, and we're going to see how that process plays itself out. But I think it's going to have to be either we're going to have to require it or we're going to have a much more transparent process when people sign up where if people, I'm actually one of the things I'm thinking about is, well, maybe we can allow people to waive that coverage if they want to, but this has to be very transparent, or either that, or we're just going to have to require it. But that's from my perspective, one of the real problems with the system is how the lack of transparency. When you purchase a car, for example, and you get a car loan, you have to sign documents that will show you exactly what your monthly car payment will be in August of 2031. You know exactly what the terms are. There's all these disclosures. When you purchase most items, there's a real transparency associated. If you buy an iPhone or a pair of glasses or a pen, you know what you're getting. With insurance, you actually hope you never actually use the product. But I think the industry takes advantage of this and knows that very few people will ever use it, and as a result, they play a lot of nickel and dime with folks. And I think that's why we need an insurance commissioner that's on the lookout and who's really pushing for transparency. I'm actually working on a possible transparency bill that could provide people with really clear options of what they're signing up for and what not. And if they want to opt in or opt out, they can and they should be able to. But that all has to be done in a transparent manner before the disaster strikes. Okay,
Right. And you timed that perfectly.
there we go.
So glad you could join us. I know we have some other questions popping up in chat. I don't know if you or your
Oh
staff
yeah.
have the chance to follow those up and answer them in chat. I'm sure our members are. But thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
And I'm sure our members will look forward to speaking with you at the convention and moving forward.
Thank you.
And I believe I saw our fourth speaker is with us. Okay. Yes. Nichelle Henderson. I'm hoping I am pronouncing your name correctly.
You did.
And I think it jumped just as I was trying to pin you. Okay. And you are a candidate for Superintendent of Public Instruction. And I know that you've told me what office you currently hold, but it's blanking on me, so I'm going to let you handle your own introduction. As I'm telling all of our candidates, you have 3 minutes for opening remarks, followed by up to 5 minutes for questions from members. I will start the timer when you begin speaking.
Well, thank you very much. Good evening, Democrats. My name is Nichelle Henderson. I am a elected trustee to the Los Angeles Community College District Board. LA Community College District is the largest community college district in the country. And I had the opportunity to serve as the board president in 2024. I am also a former classroom teacher. I taught sixth grade middle school math and science, and I currently work as a teacher educator in a teacher credentialing program that is housed out of Fresno State. So I work with teachers that are working towards completing their multiple subjects teaching credentials. And I'm running for this position because I believe that real experience gets real results. I've got 30 years in education, starting out as a parent volunteer to my current day job and my work as a community college trustee. And I believe very strongly, not just in the power of education, but over the 15 years that I've been out of the classroom, working in classrooms, I've seen firsthand how a lack of accountability and a lack of responsibility have impacted our student outcomes. And I truly understand that not addressing the barriers that are caused by decreases in funding that cause, that prevent school districts from paying classified workers, having bus drivers, having resource teachers for special ed classrooms hurts all of our students when we can't provide services for all of them. And my vision for California public schools is simple. It is to simply fund our public schools, because fully funding our schools ensures that we don't have to wait for spec grant funding or one-time earmarks to provide programming. Our changing our funding formula to meet the funding. Prop 98 funding is based off of enrollment. Our, our student funding formulas for K-12 are based off of attendance. Enrollment allows for more sustainability. Schools know what they're getting. They know how to use it from the beginning of the year to the end of the year versus anticipating losses because attendance is down. I also feel that, fully funding our public schools make sure that we can reduce class sizes and make sure that we are being intentional about the programming that we offer for our students. And I am happy to answer any questions regarding my campaign.
All right. Thank you so much. Let me reset our timer. And our first question is, a recent news article contends that Gen Z is the first generation to be less cognitively capable than their parents and attributes this to the introduction of screens in the classroom. What are your thoughts?
Hmm. That's a very good point. During the pandemic, we switched from in-person to virtual learning based off of necessity. And as we transition back into the classrooms, we're finding that teachers are still being encouraged to utilize, have students in front of screens. The real challenge is in the late mid 1990s, when our former president, George Bush, implemented this system, this legislation around No Child Left Behind. Every child since then has been left behind because we took English and language arts, writing, composition out of our schools and replaced it with English language arts. We're free writing and there are no real basics to our system of writing and learning. We took cursive out of the schools. Students now take their standardized tests on computer, where they were once paper-based, where they had to read and touch paper. And the challenge that we find is that our system of education, in terms of expectations for students, hasn't changed. We've not risen the bar by incorporating technology. We've lowered the bar because we don't show our students how to utilize the technology that they're using in order to learn and be better students. We're using it to replace teaching, where that is why we need teachers. We have teachers that become certificated because they know the content area. They can understand, they know how to teach. So when we have teachers that are forced to have iPad time and all of this during the classroom, and they're not able to really teach because we're forcing them to teach to a test, not to teach for understanding and true mastery of the Common Core standards, which are the bane of my existence.
Okay. There are a lot of candidates running for this position. What sets you apart from the other candidates and makes you the best choice?
What sets me apart from the other candidates is I am the only candidate in this race that has a true background in K-12 education. I am the only candidate in this race that has a clear multiple subjects teaching credential. Having taught in the classroom, I have K-12 experience, community college policy making experience, and I teach in the CSU. I am a college professor. I understand teachers. I understand what teachers need, but I also understand how our teachers and our students work with our classified personnel, our school bus drivers, our attendance clerks, our cafeteria workers, the importance of making sure that their wages are sufficient so that they can live in the areas that they teach in the areas that they live, earn a thriving wage versus just the wage that allows them to make do. We have teachers that are not able to afford health care for their own children. Teachers set the groundwork for every other profession, yet we are completely and utterly disregarded when we look at funding. Our classroom aides, I've been a classroom aide. I worked as a classroom aide a few hours a day, every week. I made $500 a month. They're not making enough money to survive. And so we are forced in a situation where our education staff, our education workers are living below the poverty line. They are part of our working poor, but they really are our essential workers. And so again, that is why we need to focus our priorities on our funding and increase Prop 98 funding. So we're not looking at crumbs, but so that we can really be intentional about how we support our schools.
Okay, how would you make sure that all schools in California are equitably funded? Seems that in rich areas, parents give so much extra that poorer communities cannot do.
Because we base our funding on a model that says a small school gets X and a larger school gets Y. Every school should get what it needs. That's equity. So when we're looking at a small school that might hold, have the capacity for 2,000 students, and we're looking at a school that might have the capacity for 4,000 students, they should receive not necessarily the same dollars, but the same money, the money that they need to offer the programming and to pay their teachers, to pay their classified staff. That's in the equity.
All right, and we're just coming up onto our 5 minutes. So thank you for joining us. I would encourage you, if you have time, to answer some of the questions that have been dropped into the chat for our members. But otherwise, thank you very much for joining us this evening, and I'm sure our delegates will
Thank
look
you for
forward to
having
speaking to
me.
you at the convention.
Yes, I look forward to meeting everyone in person.
All right. Thanks, everyone, and I appreciate all of the questions you were submitting this evening. Um, Going on, we will circle back. I do see a number of guests are with us this evening. If you wish to introduce yourself and say who you are, please raise your hand, and I'll call on you to say hello. Okay, Brianna Rogers.
Hey everyone, my name is Brianna Rogers. My lighting is bad right now. I'm just coming from another community meeting and I pulled over to hop on to this community meeting. I'm a resident in Vallejo, District 4, and I'm happy to be here. Thanks for having me as a
Well,
guest.
thank you for joining us. Appreciate it. All right. And with that, next item on our agenda is our public comment. This is for guests to the meeting. All comments are limited to 2 minutes. Additional time may not be granted. Total comment period cannot exceed 30 minutes. So if any of our guests have a comment at this time they wish to make, feel free to raise your hand. If not, we will go ahead and close our public comments and move on. We've had our treasurer's report already. So our other reports, officers' reports, I will just say very briefly, it's been a very busy couple of months since we last met. And we all know the horror that is going on in Minneapolis and actually throughout our country. And I want to thank and salute all of you who have been active on the front lines, doing what you can, however you can, whether it's participating in protests or speaking at public forums or are leading in your communities as elected officials. Um, we are at a very much at a tipping point, and I think we need to keep doing what we've been doing uh, to keep the pressure on this current uh, administration regime, whatever you wish to call it. So, and I've shared with you the results from our pre-endorsement conference via email. So we will see what happens at the convention. Other than that, I'm going to forego the rest of my report. Uh, do any of our officers have anything that they urgently need to report this evening that's not part of our business for the evening? If you do, please raise your hand. If not, I do know that we have, well, we also have our elected officials reporting by email, sending out our reports. I do want to, I'll answer your question in a second, Vanessa, but let me first call on Jeannie White, who has a request relayed from Senator Cabaldo.
Good evening, everyone. I am putting out a request from the Cabaldan staffers who are looking for a venue for a pre-convention get-together. They'd like to have it on February 18th from 4 to 7. So they've got the date and the time, but they're looking for a place to have the event. So they have asked that if there is someone who would be interested in opening up their home for about what they say up to 80 people. They are going to be providing wine, beverages, and snacks, but they're saying that they would like the attendees to bring food, as in a potluck. So they're hoping to have delegates and some Central Committee members from Yolo, Solano County, and Napa. And I guess that the senator will be there to talk a little bit about the convention and to talk about some of his endorsements. If any of you are interested in hosting this event, I'm going to put my email address in the chat, but I am making this request after being asked by the Cabaldan staffer who's trying to put this together. So if you're interested, please let me know. And I'm sure that the staffers in Senator Cabaldan's office would be overjoyed to hear from you that you would like to host an event like this. Thank you, Chairman Lowry, for letting me make this request.
No problem. Okay, jumping back to Vanessa asked in chat, how will the endorsement for candidates work? I assume you're talking about our statewide candidates, Vanessa?
Yes.
Yeah. Those will be voted on at the state convention by the delegates. And I will be candid, I don't remember for the statewide officers specifically whether that's a majority or a higher margin of delegates voting. I do know that for the district candidates, Assembly, Senate, and Congress, that those are 60% for the margin, but I don't remember the statewide number off the top of my head. It may be just a simple majority or it may be slightly higher, but that will be the process. Those of us who are going to San Francisco will, actually, I think we'll be getting a ballot via email and voting at whatever the window is and doing that. So if you have your thoughts on any of our candidates, governor, lieutenant governor, superintendent, insurance commissioner, please communicate those to the delegates, or if you want to just send a general email to the full body Central Committee, feel free to do that and share your thoughts. I mean, obviously, our individual delegates were not necessarily bound, but I would like to think that all of us would take our fellow members' thoughts into consideration as we vote. So again, I encourage you to do that and everyone to do that. Talk to your delegates and share your thoughts. We have a number of candidates. Candidly, I would be very surprised if we ended up with an endorsement for governor, but some of the other races we might do that. Okay. Again, don't unless any of our officers had anything to report, I'm going to.
Don, did you want to talk about the crab feed?
Well, that's business item.
Oh, okay.
So we'll get to you second. First, we have the communications committee. Um, uh, Rochelle said she has some brief items to report this month, so.
Yeah, in the interest of brevity, I'm going to make this really, really short. So an email is going to be going out to everyone. We're ramping up again, and there's a lot of items that people are talking about that they want to do. Um, I'm just hoping a little bit. I'm hoping at the convention that happens at the end of February, we're not going to meet before then, that what's going on is discussed versus just going to the convention and they don't really talk about it. So I'm hoping that happens, and I hope the people here um, basically um, support moving as a larger group towards getting things done, a little bit better teamwork in the Democratic Party, California Democratic Party. So that's it for me. An email will come out to everyone saying what we're doing.
Right, thank you, Michelle, appreciate that. I will note that to at least to some extent, bottoms up pressure seems to have started to work on our would-be leaders and getting them to be more vocal, more active in their position. So uh, I want to thank Michelle, the rest of the communications committee who started us on the journey of being vocal to our elected officials, not just our own elected officials, but the leadership in Washington, and say that we need to continue doing that. And then hopefully we do have more guidance on more action moving forward. Now, jumping on to the crab feed update, Vernil and the rest of the committee, the show is yours. You're muted, Vernil.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. I would like to say thank you to the volunteers that got us to this far. You know, next Saturday is the big day, February 7th, for our crab feed. We're still looking for volunteers. If those get in touch with someone on the committee or me if you interested in volunteering. I do have those that have already contacted me. I know everyone wants to know about the money. Um, Karen, can you tell us who our sponsors are to this?
Sure. Okay, so we have, starting in our platinum group, we have Northern Solano Democratic Club. We have the Progressive Democrats of Benicia. They've done 2 sponsorships at the platinum level. We have Supervisor Cassandra James. We also have the United Dems. And when we look at the the gold level, we have the Rio Vista Democratic Club, and we have, let's see, a city, our city council member of Vacaville, Michael Silva. At our silver level, we have Rhonda Williams, and then we have a host of other guarantees who we have not received yet. That's Garamendi, Thompson, Cabalden, SDWA, and I think we're still waiting to hear back from another elected, but that's where we are. And if we're looking at total sales, I can tell you ticket sales in our federal count is $1,950, and total sales in our state account is $5,500.
Okay. Also
So-
CPA indicated.
Yeah.
So we're still looking for it's still time to go out and buy your tickets. I got to give a count this week for the crab vendor. But so far as volunteers, we have the Young Dems, we have the Boys and Girl Scouts. I didn't know they merged, but it's on one group now. Brian is back as our crab cooker this year.
our standard kitchen crew, Margie, Anna, Bridget, and Mohammed. If you have desserts that you want to donate, we will have Kathy. Please see Kathy Carriage on desserts, silent auction. I don't see Maggie on here, but Maggie Coke is over the silent auction. We so far we have about 17 desserts, so people are responding, is what I want to say. Our special guest speaker will be Michael Tubbs, the former mayor of the city of Stockton, will be our special guest speaker at this year's Crab Feed. So please go buy your tickets and let's make this another successful event. As our chair had just said, with all the things that are going on in the world and the United States, we need to have some money to help fight for democracy. Any questions? Okay. Don?
Okay. I'm not seeing any questions. Any other committee members have anything they wish to say or reminders?
I
Go
do
ahead.
a question. This is Brianna Rogers again. I do make a delicious homemade 7-Up cake. I would love to donate one for your guys' auction. Should I just bring it the day of, or how's that work?
You can, but I'll have something for you to fill out too. And I can have a Google sheet for the donators to fill out. So who was that? Was Brianna?
Rogers, and I'll be a guest of
Okay.
Supervisor Cassandra James. If you want to send her the link, she can get that to me, or you can send it to me direct in the chat. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jeanette,
So did you mention anything about the auction? Is it live or is that going to be a separate
We
part of the
have two.
report?
With the silent auction is live. It's not live, but online. We're only doing the silent auction online. There will be some items there though. At the
And
actual
is it
crab
open
feed.
now that people can look at the silent auction or not yet?
Is Amber on? Amber, is it
Yes, it
open?
is. It
Okay.
is.
Great. Yeah,
On
and
the
we
DIMS website? Okay, thanks.
and we should have quite a few things there too.
Anything else? February 7th. Want to see everyone there. Thank you.
thank you. And again, thank you, Vernell, for your leadership on pulling this crab feed together. And every member of the committee, I know you guys have been working very hard. And kudos, especially to finding us a new venue on short notice. That'll be
Yes, that was
exciting.
the challenge, but we've made it. So let's make the best out of it. Thank you.
So next item we have from Amber, the Zoom membership renewal.
Yes, very quickly. It's that time of the year where we need to approve payment for our Zoom account, and it's $319.80.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the expense?
I move that we approve the expense that Amber just mentioned that I've already forgotten.
$319.30, and I second it.
Awesome.
All right. Motion and a second. Any discussion? Are we ready to launch the poll? We have looks like we have Zoom payment has been approved. So thank you, everyone. And Karen, your hand's up.
Yes, I just wanted to reiterate, and Amber probably already knows this, if she would just submit the invoice to me with the.
That's why I really had to seek guidance from God and allowing him to.
Hold on. All right. Sorry, I think we got a little cross chatter there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the reimbursement form and the invoice. I know she did it to me last year. I just wanted to, in case, I know she's got a lot to remember, but I just wanted to remind her.
Yeah,
And if you
we'll
don't
talk
have the
about it
form,
offline.
if you don't have it, I can send it to you again, Amber.
Yeah,
The form.
I'll reach out to you offline.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you. Next item we have is a review of the candidate endorsement questionnaire. I sent out a PDF version of it with the agenda. And I'm going to go ahead and share it for people. I have made a few changes with the feedback that was been provided to me, but I do want to ask people if you have any other proposed changes that you want to make at this time that we can discuss them, because we do need to approve the questionnaire tonight, given that we have candidates requesting early endorsement. So if you have feedback, specific language changes, raise your hand. Paula.
Did you fix question 51, the date issue?
Yes, that was the, where is it? It's down here with the ballot measures. Yes, I took out the date that was referenced. So it just says if you,
Then I'm good with it.
okay. All right. Any other feedback? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion to adopt this.
So moved.
So that we can go ahead and post this. Who made that motion?
This is Gian.
Okay, Xian. And is there a second?
Second.
All right.
Who made the second?
Jack. Hi.
Okay, motion is second. All right, unless there's any further discussion, I would go ahead and launch that poll. Vote early, vote often, vote correctly. Anyone else who wishes to vote, please get your votes in. All right, it would appear that our questionnaire has been approved, so thank you, everyone. That will be posted in all the appropriate locations pursuant to our bylaws for the endorsement process. Now, the next item on the agenda, which is why we needed to act on those tonight, is we have requests for early endorsements from candidates running for the Board of Supervisors in both District 3 and 4 under our bylaws to endorse before the end of the the end of the filing period, excuse me. The membership has to agree to place each race specifically on the agenda for the next meeting. And so if you approve it tonight, we will vote in February. And to approve endorsements before the end of the filing period will require a 2/3 vote. rather than the majority that is required after the end of the filing period. So this is the step to place it on the ballot. And the next step is to prove that. Now, I'm not sure. I did see one of our candidates was here. I don't know if both of them are, but I don't know. Michael, did you want to say anything before we entertain any motions?
Hey everyone, Michael Silva. For those y'all who don't know me, looking to continue leading our not just our city of Vacaville, but really our county with integrity and honor. Through the votes that come through. Our democracy is in a real interesting point right now. But I'm here to always be centered on how we best serve our people. And everything that's about me. Sorry, I'm not giving my pitch, but I would really like the honor to for you all to consider an early endorsement, and happy to let you all know why I'm the best candidate to keep us moving forward in our next meeting. I'll leave it at that.
Any other comments or just at this time? Or not, I'll entertain a motion to consider districts 3 and 4 for early endorsement at our next meeting and have that placed on the agenda.
So moved, Jeanette Wiley.
This is Gian, second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, going once, going twice. Let's go ahead and launch that poll. And again, get your votes in. Get your votes in. We appreciate it. Looks like we're coming up on 1 minute. And the motion has carried. So we will be considering our 2 supervisors' races for early endorsement next month. And as soon as we have the questionnaires posted, you are encouraged to get to work on those and fill them out so we can learn all about you. Thank you, guys. And I will say, without prejudicing my own vote next month, I do want to thank our council member for becoming one of the strongest Democrats we've had in many a cycle to run for that seat. And speaking of, while I haven't made up my own mind on this superintendent's race, I do want to just let everyone know that Ms. Henderson has in fact stayed and answered your questions in chat. So encourage you to read your chat before you leave to get your question, her responses. Next item we have is endorsement convention preview. As we've kind of alluded to many times, the state endorsement convention will be happening in San Francisco the weekend of the February 20th through the 22nd. The major item of business obviously will be either ratifying endorsements that were made or votes that were taken at pre-endorsement conferences and making endorsements for the contested Assembly, Senate, and congressional races, are voting in the first instance to endorse on the statewide races. So that will be a lot of the excitement and energy going on at our convention. Those of you who have attended past conventions when these endorsements are on the ballot will know to pack your earplugs because it'll get quite noisy at times with the demonstrations. but we're looking forward to that. There's will be a lot of the usual convention business. There'll be another training session that they're having on Friday afternoon for organizing and other activities that and I'm sure a number of our other delegates will be attending, and we'll be reporting back to you. And with that, I do want to throw it open to our other delegates, comments they have, thoughts they want to share, or any questions that anybody might have about the convention or perspectives. So, Lynette.
Good evening, everyone. If you're a delegate to the convention and someone you know wants to still get an observer's pass, there's they do cost. You can get one for a significant other, which is only $95, and then you can get additional ones that are observer's passes that are $155. And you still have that opportunity because overall, just general public cannot not get observer passes. Those are sold out. But as a delegate, you still have opportunity to get observer passes. If you have proxies and all of that, I'll be at the credentials table on Friday if you need help with that, especially our county committee people. And Don, they may need a signature from you. I do have your number if I need you to come down to sign off on something.
Okay.
And that's about it. Okay. Thank you.
And appreciate that, Lynette. And then I do want to, I know at least one of our Central Committee members got, how should I phrase this, shortchanged because of the change in congressional districts and lost her delegate position. So if anyone who is currently a delegate and is not planning to attend, please reach out to me, and want to make sure that that person gets a chance to attend as a voting member if that opportunity exists. So please do that. We'd appreciate that. Bonnie.
Hi, I just want to clarify, Lynette, what you said through the chair is, so what you said is delegates can get observer passes for other people or their partner, but the general population can't buy it. Is that, just to clarify what you said?
They're no longer available to the general public. So I'm not, connected to a delegate, but I decided as a Democrat, I want to come to the convention. Those passes are all sold out. But delegates can still get passes for either their significant other and or other people that want them. So like if my girlfriend wanted to come down or whatever, I could still get a pass for them.
Okay, yeah, just to clarify that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
No problem.
And I know that the party is having its customary Saturday evening dinner, is honoring the retiring Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi. However, they want $200, so they will have to honor her without me.
And the deadline, I think, to buy those tickets is today. So
I know that they were sending out the hard ask today to people sign up, but yeah, I can think of better things to do with $200 than eat rubber chicken. So
now, Don, some of us are going, so I don't
Yes.
rub it in, huh?
Some of us want to see Nancy Pelosi.
Being a generous donor to the party and attending those dinners, that certainly is your prerogative. Some of us have mortgages to pay. So, does anyone else have either any questions about the convention and the process, or any comments? Jeanette.
Just a quick question. Is there a link on ActBlue now for the paying our dues? I know they're not due till April, but just to get it done.
I don't believe so. I would defer to Karen, but I don't believe we've set up the 2026 link yet.
Yeah, we didn't set up the 2026. There is one on there, but it's not the 2026, so we can do that.
Okay, then I'll wait.
Okay, thank you.
But thank you for that early reminder that come April, we'll be asked to pay our dues for the year. Bonnie again?
Yeah, I do have another clarification about people going to the convention who are not delegates and who do not have observer passes. What do you know what security will be like? For instance, people can belong to caucuses and attend caucuses, but someone who's a caucus member but doesn't want to be an observer and is not a delegate. Do you know what that looks like, or what their
I
you
have
know?
not seen, or I don't recall seeing, let me rephrase, a specific email about security at this convention. However, uh, I have noted that the security at each of our events is getting ramped up. Um, and so I would imagine that anyone seeking to attend a caucus should expect to be going through uh, metal detector and security screening um, process. And so don't bring the metal drink uh, glass or anything like that. Usually the party will post on the website for the convention the list of prohibited items. It's all the common sense stuff at this point that you to a concert or any place that security is screening. So expect
Yeah,
that.
let's hope
And
so for sure. Let's
given
hope
that
it's
this
got.
is San Francisco, I would say expect to be in a lengthy line, just because that seems to be the case. So I would say wear your comfortable shoes. Well, so if nothing else, you can be comfortable while standing in security.
One other thing that I wanted to mention, that for people who are going to the convention, there is a training on Friday, which is cheaper for delegates. It's like, I think it's $55 for delegates, and it's a little bit more, $75 for other Democrats who are not delegates. And then the young physicians, I think it's less than even the 55, it's like more like 35. And that's from 11 to 3. And it's just kind of a rise up. I can't really remember the name, but it is an activist
Camp
training.
Kadem, I think, or something.
Yeah, Camp
Yeah,
Kadem at
as I
Moscone.
said, it's organizing training that will be happening.
Rise and organize, they're calling it.
So it will probably have the similar content for those who attended the one last year. Tools for organizing it and helping us engage and do the things that we will be needing to do. Because we will, as I said at the top of the meeting, we've got a very busy year coming up. Michelle.
So I'm going to be going to that, and in particular, the house parties session, which Kadam seems to be fairly good at, because one of the things that's come up is talking about people organizing sort of block by block, like the democratic members of your block or your neighborhood, this sort of aspect of social yet political activity and groups and people sort of empowering people. So if anyone else is going to that, let me know, and I'd be really like to talk to you afterwards, to hear what you think, and yeah, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, so if you do, please connect and share and what you have learned and your takeaways for good or for ill, and do that. There is also the regional directors have organized, and I know Jeff has sent out emails on it, a series of Saturday sessions with the various statewide candidates, so that they'll be doing forums via Zoom for the various offices. So if I can find my email from him, I will send that out again so that we have a reminder. But I would encourage, especially those of you who are delegates, but anyone who's interested in hearing more from our various candidates, to attend the sessions, listen in, and get a sense of them. Because it's, at least in some of our races, there are a lot of people running who don't have very high profile. So we may well want to educate ourselves on what they stand for. Do we have, let me look, any other questions? Well, I will say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pleasantly surprised. I assumed we'd have a longer meeting. So thank you for joining us early this evening and for your feedback. And I will encourage you all to support the Democratic candidates of your choice in the primary, support our local Democrats running for office, and any Democrat holding elective office, feel free to hold them accountable to their platform, party's platform and policy positions. Does us no good to elect someone with a D after their name if they don't vote like a Democrat once in office. So with that, unless anyone has any announcements to make at this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
This is Lynette, second.
Motion and a second. And all those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Right.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Good night, everyone. Thank you. And those of you that I'll see at convention, we'll see you then. The
Good
rest of
night.
you, we'll see you next month.